After more than 40 years of conflict, more than 6 million Afghans have been driven out of their homes and their country by conflict, violence, and poverty.
I was so very moved by watching their plight on television. I was very moved.
The latest estimates suggest Oklahoma will trail only California and Texas in the total number of Afghan refugees that are being welcomed and relocated here following the U.S.'s chaotic withdrawal from Afghanistan.
Oklahoma City and even Stillwater is expecting at least 100. They spend about 3 weeks in hotels. There they begin cultural orientation, which is a fancy way of saying they start learning the American language.
Well, I'm lucky enough to be a member of a very dedicated group of volunteers that help our Afghan refugees, or we call ourselves the Afghan helpers.
The group's not large, but everybody has such caring hearts, and it's really been a blessing to get to know these families more than what we did before we started.
The Afghan helpers from Church of the Servant have helped these families adjust to their new home.
I think the thought of what they're going through, it motivates me to think of being forced to leave your country, to be plopped down in a whole different world where you don't know the language, you don't know any of the customs. Everything is so different, and what a helpless feeling.
The Afghan helpers have been there to accompany the refugees' families throughout their daily lives, from simple and everyday asks to those more critical.
When the guys got their driver's license, it was like Christmas. They were just so happy, and it was hard for them. They were good drivers, they just didn't know how to drive in America. And so, it really just lifted it was a great feeling.
We had one of our church members here at Church of the Servant was kind enough to donate a vehicle to one of our Afghan families. The team met and presented the family with the car, and they were ecstatic. I mean, he was very excited to get his own car, and because he knew he already had his driver's license, so he was going to be able to be much more independent.
And it's such a good idea when the women get out and go, because they so seldom go out of their apartments, and they're very confined. And so if they can bring them along on a trip to the mall or the grocery store or anywhere, the library, it's a banner thing for them.
In order to help families adjust to their new lives in America, some members of the group even designed a website with videos in the native Afghan language.
I think the ultimate goal would be to see these families to integrate into society here in Oklahoma successfully.
I think definitely to see them grow and become independent and not need us, but want to touch base and be our friends.
What they've been forced to do is really, really hard, and I'm just looking forward to the day where they kind of get over the top of the hill and they've gotten used to living here.
For I was hungry, and you gave me food. I was thirsty, and you gave me something to drink. I was a stranger, and you welcomed me.